If you've been charged with a gun-related offense in New Jersey, there's one law you need to understand immediately: the Graves Act. A Graves Act conviction means mandatory prison time. No exceptions. No judicial discretion. The judge's hands are tied. But here's what most people don't know: you don't have to fire a weapon, or even use one, to face these consequences. What is the Graves Act? New Jersey's Graves Act imposes mandatory minimum prison sentences and periods of parole ineligibility on certain firearms offenses. If you're convicted, you are going to prison, and you will serve a set amount of time before you're even eligible for parole. The law has expanded significantly over the years. In 2008, it was broadened to include unlawful possession offenses, meaning simply having a gun without a permit can trigger these mandatory penalties, even if you never threaten anyone. In 2013, the parole ineligibility period was increased from 36 to 42 months for most offenses. Possession offenses. Let's talk about the most common triggers. Unlawful possession of a handgun under New Jersey law is a second-degree crime. If convicted, you face 5 to 10 years in state prison, with 42 months of parole ineligibility, or half your sentence, whichever is longer. The same applies to unlawful possession of a machine gun, an assault firearm, or a firearm by a person who is legally prohibited from owning one. Even a sawed-off shotgun or a defaced firearm, one with an altered or removed serial number, falls under the Graves Act. Intent and drug-related offenses. The Graves Act also covers possession of a firearm for an unlawful purpose. That's when you have a gun and intend to use it against a person or property. This is a second-degree charge, and prosecutors don't need to prove you pulled the trigger. Intent alone is enough. And if a firearm is found near drugs during an arrest, even if you never touched the gun, New Jersey law can result in a separate second-degree Graves Act charge layered on top of your drug case. Violent crimes. The Graves Act also applies when a firearm is involved in a violent crime, including armed robbery, aggravated assault with a firearm, carjacking, burglary with a weapon, home invasion burglary, added under 2024 legislation, aggravated sexual assault with a weapon, murder or manslaughter involving a firearm. In first-degree cases, sentences can range from 10 to 20 years, or more, depending on the underlying charge. Accomplice liability. Here's something that surprises many people: you don't have to hold a gun to face Graves Act exposure. If you participated in a crime alongside someone who had a firearm, and prosecutors can show you knew or had reason to believe a gun would be present, you can face the same mandatory sentencing as the person who carried the weapon. What falls outside the Graves Act? Not every gun charge triggers the Graves Act. Key exceptions include unlawful possession of an unloaded rifle or shotgun, imitation or replica firearms that cannot fire real projectiles, BB guns, air guns, and spring guns, clarified under the 2013 amendment. In these situations, a judge may retain discretion over sentencing. The Graves Act waiver. Here's what most people facing these charges never hear about, and what can make all the difference: a Graves Act waiver. A waiver, if granted, removes the mandatory minimum entirely. That means instead of guaranteed prison time, you may be eligible for probation or a significantly reduced sentence, without serving a day behind bars. But a waiver is not automatic. It requires the prosecutor's agreement, a formal application, and a compelling legal argument built around your specific circumstances. Most people either don't know it exists or don't have an attorney experienced enough to pursue it effectively. The attorneys at the Tormey Law Firm have successfully obtained Graves Act waivers for clients across New Jersey. These are hard-fought outcomes, not guaranteed results, but having a legal team that understands what prosecutors look for and how to present your case at the county level puts you in a fundamentally different position than going it alone. If you or someone you know is facing a Graves Act charge in New Jersey, the time to act is now. These cases move fast, and early decisions, including whether to pursue a waiver, can be the difference between prison and going home. The attorneys at the Tormey Law Firm have handled hundreds of gun cases across New Jersey, from first-time possession charges to serious violent offenses. Our team has secured Graves Act waivers that others said couldn't be won. Call us 24/7 for a free consultation.